There is a moment I remember very clearly. I was standing in my kitchen on a Tuesday morning, and I had just finished what I thought was a thorough cleaning of the whole house. I had mopped, I had scrubbed, I had wiped down every surface I could find. I had vacuumed the living room twice because I noticed I had missed a corner the first time. I cleaned for most of the day. And I stood there, damp sponge still in my hand, and looked around at my house. And I felt something I did not expect to feel. Tired, just tired. Not proud, not satisfied, not that warm feeling of a job well done. Just tired, and a little sad, and already thinking about what would need doing again tomorrow. That was not a one-time feeling. That was most of my adult life. I spent decades cleaning the way I thought you were supposed to clean, big efforts on the weekends, catch-up sessions that stretched into whole afternoons, cleaning products lined up under the sink like a small army. I had systems. I had schedules printed out and taped to cabinet doors. And still, the house never quite felt the way I wanted it to feel. It felt managed, not calm, not truly clean, just managed. I am Margaret. I am 72. And in this video, I am going to share the 9 small daily habits that finally, after more than 50 years of housework, gave me a home that stays clean without ever requiring a whole day of effort ever again. The first habit is this: make your bed within 10 minutes of getting out of it. I know, you have heard this one before. Everyone has. And I want to tell you why most people hear it and still do not do it, and why it took me until my late 60s to truly understand what making the bed actually does for a home. Most people think making the bed is about the bed. It is not. It is about the room. An unmade bed makes the entire bedroom feel unsettled, unfinished, like something is always slightly wrong in that space. You walk past the door at 2 in the afternoon and catch a glimpse of rumpled sheets, and something in your mind registers it as disorder. Not just in the bedroom, in the whole day. For most of my adult life, I made the bed only when I expected company. That was the honest truth. I would shut the bedroom door on ordinary days and not think much of it. Then one winter, I started making it every single morning without exception, even on days I was not feeling well, even on days I had nowhere to be. Within 2 weeks, I noticed that I was tidying the nightstands more often. Then I started keeping the bedroom floor clearer. The whole room followed the bed. It really did. Do it simply. Do not overthink it. Pull the sheets smooth, fluff the pillows, straighten the comforter. It takes under 5 minutes. You do not need hospital corners. You do not need it to look like a magazine. You just need it done. The second habit is to wipe down the kitchen counters every single night before you go to bed. Here's what I want you to think about. The kitchen is the room that sets the tone for the entire house. When you walk into a kitchen with clean counters in the morning, something in you relaxes before you even have your coffee. When you walk into a kitchen with last night's clutter and crumbs still sitting there, something in you tightens, and that tightness can follow you through the first hour of your whole day. I used to leave things on the counter for later. A cutting board I had used at dinner, a few dishes I planned to deal with in the morning, a bottle of olive oil I had taken out and not put back. None of it seemed like a big deal in the evening, but in the morning it always felt like more than it was. Clutter has a way of multiplying overnight, or at least it feels that way. Take a damp cloth before you go to bed. Wipe the counters completely clear. Move the things that do not belong there. Put the cutting board away. Cap the olive oil and return it to the cabinet. This takes 8 to 10 minutes at most. And what you will walk into the next morning is not a chore waiting for you. It is a clean start. The third habit is to do one load of laundry from start to finish in a single day. Not started and left in the machine, not washed and left damp in the dryer, all the way through. Washed, dried, folded, and put away in one day. This is one of the most common ways laundry takes over a home. It is not that people do not wash their clothes. It is that the laundry lives in a basket in the hallway for 3 days after washing, or sits crumpled in the dryer for a week, or gets moved from one surface to another without ever actually being dealt with. Clean laundry that has not been put away is just a different kind of mess. I am not saying you need to do laundry every single day. Depending on how many people are in your home, every other day or even twice a week may be exactly right. The point is that when you do a load, you finish it the same day. You do not let it become a project that lives in your house for days. Put the load in when you wake up. Move it to the dryer after breakfast. Fold it after lunch or after dinner. Put it away before the day is done. The whole thing, start to finish. Do you have a laundry habit that finally worked for you? I would love to know. Leave it in the comments, because I think so many of us have wrestled with this one for years. The fourth habit is to deal with flat surfaces once a day. Flat surfaces are where a home quietly falls apart. The kitchen table, the entryway console, the coffee table in the living room, the top of the dryer. These are the places where things land when they do not have a real home, and where they tend to accumulate faster than anywhere else in the house. The problem with flat surfaces is that they do not look messy right away. They look fine for a day or two, even with a few things on them. And then suddenly, you look at your dining room table and realize it has become a storage unit. Mail, library books, a jacket, 2 batteries you meant to recycle, a grandchild's drawing you wanted to keep but have not framed yet. None of those things were supposed to live there, but there they are. Once a day, I do what I call a surface reset. I go through every flat surface in the house that tends to collect things, and I return each item to its real home. This is not a deep clean. I am not scrubbing anything. I am simply restoring the surfaces to clear. The whole reset takes about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the day. The fifth habit is to sweep or vacuum the main living areas every day. Not the whole house. I want to be clear about that. Not every room, not every corner, not with a full attachment kit and a 2-hour commitment. Just the main areas where you and anyone else in your home spend your time. The kitchen floor, the main living room, the entryway. Floors tell you a great deal about how clean a home actually feels. A room with clean floors feels clean, even if other things are not perfect. A room with crumbs and tracked-in dirt feels messy, even if everything else is tidy. It is remarkable how much floors affect the overall feeling of a space. I keep a small handheld broom in the kitchen, visible and easy to reach. This is the key. If I have to go searching for a broom, or open a closet and move 3 things to find it, I will talk myself out of using it before I even start. Visible, accessible tools are tools you actually use. A quick sweep of the kitchen and entry takes me about 7 minutes. A light pass with the vacuum in the living room takes another 5. The 6th habit is to deal with the dishes before they become a pile. I am not saying wash every dish the moment it touches the sink. I am saying do not let dishes accumulate to the point where they feel like a project. There's a threshold in every kitchen, and you know yours. It is the point at which the dishes go from being a 5-minute task to being a 30-minute undertaking. And once you cross it, you will avoid that sink for the rest of the day. For most of my life, the dishes sat. Not all the time, but often enough. I would cook dinner, and then after dinner I would be tired, and the dishes would wait until morning. Then I would add the breakfast dishes, and by midday I had a full sink plus the counter beside it. And suddenly the kitchen felt like it was closing in on me. My daughter-in-law Yuki, who grew up in Osaka, has a phrase she uses that I have never forgotten. She says that in her family, the kitchen was never left dirty at the end of the day. Not as a rule anyone announced out loud, but simply as a matter of how life was done. That idea stayed with me. The kitchen does not end the day dirty. That is simply how it is. Deal with your dishes at least twice a day, once after the midday meal and once before bed. You do not have to run a full dishwasher cycle for every pot. Hand wash what makes sense to hand wash. Load what makes sense to load, and wipe the sink when you are done. The whole thing should take you under 10 minutes each time. What room in your home feels the hardest to keep up with? Leave it in the comments. I am genuinely curious, and it helps me make videos that actually help you. The 7th habit is to do a 10-minute tidy before the end of the day. This is different from the surface reset. This is a quick pass through the whole house, not to clean anything, but simply to return it to order. Cushions back in place, a magazine returned to the basket, a pair of shoes moved to the door, a throw blanket refolded and draped over the arm of the chair. What you are doing is closing the day. You are telling your home and yourself that the day is finished and things are as they should be. There is something genuinely calming about going to bed in a house that has been gently attended to. You wake up to something different than a home that was simply abandoned for the night. I walk through my house every evening around 8 o'clock. It takes me somewhere between 8 and 12 minutes. I do not do anything deep during this walk. I do not scrub. I do not reorganize. I do not start any new task. I simply tidy what is out of place and appreciate what is already in order. When I first started this habit, I thought it would feel like one more chore at the end of a long day. Instead, it became one of my favorite parts of the day. The 8th habit is to clean your bathroom sink and counter 3 times a week, every single week, without fail. Bathrooms have a way of going from fine to unacceptable very quickly. One day the sink looks perfectly clean. 3 days later there's toothpaste in the basin, water spots on the faucet, and something unidentifiable near the soap dish. The bathroom is the room that guests notice, and more importantly, it is the room that you start and end your day in. When it feels clean, something small and important shifts in how you feel about your whole home. The mistake most people make with bathrooms is treating them as a once-a-week deep clean situation. And then life gets busy, and the deep clean gets postponed, And by the time you get to it, it really is a deep clean. I do not deep clean my bathrooms anymore. I wipe down the sink and counter 3 times a week, and the rest stays manageable because it never gets the chance to build up. I keep cleaning wipes right there in the bathroom cabinet. Again, visible, accessible, right where the job is. 3 minutes. The sink is wiped, the counter is clear, the faucet is shining. Done. The 9th habit, and this one is perhaps the one that changed everything for me, is to spend 10 minutes every evening asking yourself one simple question. What would make tomorrow easier? Not a big planning session, not a to-do list, not a reorganization. Just a quiet 10 minutes in which you look ahead to tomorrow and do 1 or 2 small things that will make the morning smoother. This might mean setting out the coffee things the night before. It might mean moving something from the kitchen counter to the car so you do not forget it. It might mean laying out what you plan to wear so you do not stand in front of your closet at 7 in the morning making decisions. It might mean checking whether you need to run the dishwasher tonight so it is done by morning. Small things, quiet things. Robert used to call this type of thinking his setting the stage time. He would do it after dinner without making much of it, and I thought for many years that it was just a particular habit of his personality. After he passed, I picked it up myself, perhaps because it made me feel close to him at first, and then because I realized it was one of the most genuinely practical things I had ever started doing. The morning that follows this kind of evening preparation is a different kind of morning. It is calm in a way that does not happen by accident. This is the habit that makes all the other habits feel lighter. When you set your home up for tomorrow, you wake up inside a day that already has a little order in it. And order in the morning is worth more than you can imagine. I want to tell you something that I have come to believe very deeply after more than 50 years of taking care of a home. The problem was never the cleaning. The problem was what I was cleaning around. When a house is full of things that do not have homes, and routines that are too large to maintain, and a relationship with housework built on avoidance and catch-up, no amount of effort will make it feel truly clean. It will only ever feel managed. These 9 habits change that for me. My home is the calmest and most consistently clean it has ever been in my entire adult life. Not because I work harder, because I work smaller, and I work every day, and I never let it become something that needs to be conquered. I do not really clean my house anymore. I just tend to it every day in small ways. And there is a difference, a very real and beautiful difference. I have a question for you. If you could change just one thing about how you take care of your home, one habit, one room, one routine, what would it be? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and your answers help me make videos that speak to your actual life, not just a general idea of one. If this video felt useful to you, I would be so glad if you would subscribe. I put out new videos every week, always about the kind of slow, steady, practical living that makes the second half of life feel not just manageable, but genuinely good. Thank you for being here with me today.